Good morning, it's Nathan here and it's day 8 of our Island Way adventure. We're just on a campsite outside of Gortin and we're going to be walking up over a hill into the county town of Tyrone called Omagh. It's about a 10 or 11 mile walk and we're setting off quite late because the rain has been pretty heavy. There should be a slight pause in the rain and so we thought we'd take the opportunity to go when the weather is slightly better. It really is pouring, and very kindly the lady who runs the campsite has offered to run my bag up over the hill for me to Omagh, which is great because I woke up this morning with a slight crick in my neck and the thought of carrying a 20-kilogram backpack around was not much fun. So we are kind of fairly unburdened and we should be making good progress on this walk. The birds have come to say hello to me. I'm not quite sure what they are, but they're very noisy. Yep, so we have a few options for the walk today, but fortunately my local lady has given me some advice and told me which paths to avoid and which ones to go for. But the overall choice was, do we go over the hill or round the hill? Now over the hill will take us 10 or 11 miles of walking, whereas round will probably make it 12, 13 or 14. Especially if you want to avoid the really busy A road. So yeah, we decided to go up and over the hill, and there's a few different routes over, and we're going to go for the one that should hopefully be the least boggy. So we'll see what we find, and yeah, let's go. I warned there would be lots and lots of puddles, but fortunately our boots are doing all right. Come on Tess, we've got to keep walking. Don't be scared of the puddles, darling. Big girl. Oh, it is deep though, isn't it? Should we try up here? Good girl. Yeah, so some very, very deep water. I guess it's almost elbow deep for Tessie. Anyway, we're past our first little bit of a challenge there. Yep, so you should be able to see that I've got a bit of a funny setup here. No backpack because that's been taken for me, but I'm carrying this little dry bag on my front, and actually it's a dry bag within a dry bag. And inside I've got some dry clothes, a few snacks and my logbook, just in case I need to stop somewhere before my bag gets there. So you can see the visibility is not great and we're just coming down the hill before we start our final approach up the hill. It looks like it's pretty steep, but it's not much compared to what we had to do on Sunday going through the mountain pass there. So especially without a backpack, I'm sure we'll be able to zoom through it, no issues. And we've not come across any more big puddle sections yet, so fingers crossed for the steep road you don't get puddles. Okay, so here is the second road up. And apparently we just keep going up through here. There is a gate, but I guess we're allowed to go through it. Let's see. Good girl, Tessie, good girl. So now we're heading up the hill, and according to the footpath sign it says we're going to Robber's Table, whatever that means. Sorry that's a little bit blurry with all the water droplets on the camera. Island, it certainly feels like they've got some pretty decent drain infrastructure. You can see at the side of fields they've got these little dikes or small streams which they dig out so that the water's got an easy place to run down rather than making the field completely soggy. We're very thankful for that because despite the amount of rain there's been in the last 12 hours, our footpath is relatively easy walking. You can see there's stones, and I guess it's probably to help a tractor get purchase going up the steep climb. Yeah, it's so much nicer and so much faster walking through these beautiful landscapes without a backpack. And this brings back memories, fond memories of Todmorden. Just kind of the open moorland, the wet conditions, the spiky grass that we would peel as kids to get the kind of waxy white middle out of. Yeah, so although we're wet and although we're going uphill, we're still having a great time. And here we are at the Robber's Table, which is the high point of the hill. You can't really see much. We're going to carry on up and over this stile and down into Omagh. There's a very interesting, strange thing there. I don't know what it is. Yep, so just a few more, maybe I don't know, half half a mile walking on this terrain, and we've been very lucky actually. I think because we're so high up it isn't that boggy, but maybe as we descend slightly we'll get a bit wetter. But then after half a mile we're back on the country lanes, and whether it's blowing a gale or pouring it down, we know we'll be absolutely fine getting into Omagh and the coach inn, where there should be hopefully a hot meal ready for us. Almost out of nowhere, here is this mobile phone mast, just kind of coming out of the very foggy area. Not sure you can even see the top right now. That was a bit of a surprise for us. Fortunately, I saw the sheep and put Tess on the lead well before she saw them, because yep, she wants to give them a very good chase. Sorry Tessie, not today darling. So we're actually coming to the end of this footpath section, which is a bit of a shame because it's actually been very, very good, and we'll be on roads for the next 7 or 8 miles. Unfortunately not busy roads, but yeah, I've enjoyed being on footpaths whilst it lasts. I feel like this is going to be kind of what Ireland's all about really, just trying to get the footpaths where you can and going to the roads where there are no footpaths available. But still, the roads aren't awful, not too busy, and lovely buildings and everything. So yeah, we're having a good time. We've come up and over the hill and it's relatively flat now for the next 7 or 8 miles, so we should be there in maybe 2 hours or so. So we're currently walking past a firing range, and I've been hearing these funny sounds for the last 5 or 10 minutes, wondering what on earth it was, all the way since I was back up the hill. But yeah, it's a firing range, and hopefully we're not going to be walking in between the shooter and the target. So believe it or not, it was actually the British Open Clay Pigeon Shooting Competition just there in the Omagh Shooting Club. It only happens in Ireland once every 4 years, and I don't know how often it happens in Omagh, but yeah, very nicely there was a burger stall, and they were also serving warm coffee, so stopped in for a little drink. Nice little rest stop, and they had a marquee up so we stayed in the dry as well. It's amazing what little things you kind of bump into along the way. Yay, it's the first goats of the journey, hurrah! Goats, goats, goats! So we've arrived in Dunmullen, which is this little hamlet here, and you can see that 5 roads have all come together to the centre of the town. We're going to go down this little road here, which takes us through the back roads down to Omagh. So the weather's really started to clear up, and we've got pretty good visibility for the first time of the walk today. You can see all the way down to Omagh and beyond. I think that's Omagh there in the far distance. You can see, not sure if you can see, but here are some cows all wearing collars. I don't know why cows wear collars, maybe someone can tell me. So we're following this road all the way down to Omagh, or I should say Omagh, I keep pronouncing it wrong, like Omagh rhymes with Homer Simpson. And we should be there in 3 miles. So we're just walking past the Omagh Stadium, and yeah, it seems like a fairly big place, probably the biggest place we've been to since leaving Belfast, I think. So hopefully we'll find something to keep us warm and dry. Well, there seems to be some mega construction going on here in Omagh, like is that 4 cranes I can see? I don't know if they're building a university or a campus or something. There's a lot of money here. So we've just been to the biggest spa I've ever been to. We had 5 separate cashiers, and it served ice cream as well. So in Omagh it seems like there's a complete mix of the fairly new and modern, and then the basically derelict. And you see this kind of continuously throughout the town. Some buildings have just recently been built and look pretty nice. Others have dilapidated and not been touched in maybe 50 years. So a very interesting feel to it. I can imagine maybe in 10 or 20 years will be very much a nice place all over. So here we are on one of the bridges across one of the rivers in Omagh. It's really quite beautiful there. You can see lots of nice pretty buildings and that lovely big church up behind me. Yeah, definitely a lot of potential in this town.